Hi everybody, it's Jenn from McCreath. Sunday, January 16, 2022. It's actually already Monday, down under. Melbourne, Australia. They are 14 and a half hours ahead of us here in Newfoundland, Canada. So I woke up to the news that Novak Djokovic has lost his appeal and has been deported and is been loaded onto a plane and is now out of Australia. He's gone. And instead of shuffling the draw and reseeding, they're just going to put in a lucky loser in the number one seed's spot. Salvatore Caruso, a dangerous clay courter. I didn't turn the camera on. I like Sal. I've watched him play, and I admire his game. And Miomir Kecmanovic, it's no gimme. That's going to be a tough fight, but I'm just trying to process this whole Djokovic situation here. I mean, I don't understand why people would be afraid to get the vaccine. I understand if you have a medical condition that would prevent you from getting the vaccine, if you're allergic to it or something like that. But we haven't heard anything from Novak Djokovic about this. He has yet to publicly give any valid reason for why he won't get vaccinated. First, I think it's interesting to compare and contrast how different parts of the world, different countries, different sports, different cultures view this. I mean, 2 months ago, in the United States of America, quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, got COVID and misled the public about his vax status, claiming he had been immunized when in fact he had not been vaccinated. A couple other sports stars in North America were penalized and suspended for either lying about their vaccine status or whatnot. In the end, Rodgers got a slap on the wrist. He had to miss the one game because he was sick, but they let him back in, and away we go. It's like, it's bad enough that the guy had COVID, but he's lied. So the USA, COVID, they have this COVID protocol, but otherwise, no problem. Athletes can play, they can come in and out of the country, they can come in and out of the states, whatever. Now you look at Australia, it's like, if you're not vaccinated, you can't come into our country. And I guess there was some paperwork that was not properly filled out. Djokovic initially had, I don't know what it was, something to do with that he hadn't traveled or something. Then it turned out that he did travel to Spain. They don't care who you are. You could be Novak Djokovic or you could be Joe Blow. Their rules are their rules, and they apply. And we don't care who you are. Meanwhile, the NFL playoffs tonight, you're going to see 60 to 80,000 people in these stadiums. Nobody's going to be wearing a mask. And Omicron is all over North America. So that's a little bit concerning. I mean, we got to work together as a planet to deal with this. We can't tackle COVID-19 if everybody's on a different page. But my bigger topic here is just the concept of tennis. Novak Djokovic. I don't understand why he won't get vaccinated, and I'm angry to a certain extent. As a tennis fan, I want to see this guy play. The sport needs its top stars. If you want to get eyes on the product, if you want to grow the game, I love the game. I grew up playing it. I played so much tennis, I wrecked my knees by the time I was 21 years old. I could barely walk. And here's a guy, a millionaire. He gets paid millions of dollars to play tennis for a living. The sport and the industry has treated him very well. He lives a luxurious lifestyle. And he's tied with 2 other guys for the most major wins ever. 20. Federer, I think he's kind of done. He's 40 years old. He's had all these knee surgeries. I don't think he's going to win another major. Nadal, he's younger, but he's had more injury problems. You want to be the greatest of all time, you got to win the most majors. And Djokovic, you're 34. Nadal, I believe, is 36. You just gave Nadal a chance to. They all have 20. I think Nadal's got at least 1 more French Open in him, maybe 2. The next generation is catching up. These younger kids are going to start overtaking you older guys. Medvedev, Zverev, Thiem, Tsitsipas, Shapovalov, Felix Auger-Aliassime. The future is now. Rude. I was looking at the draw yesterday. Most of these top 10 players are now these younger kids, as the older folks kind of wind down their career. Djokovic, you just lost an opportunity to win number 21. You would have been the clear-cut favorite here. And now you're going home. Nadal could win this one. He could win French Open. He could have 22. And, I mean, who knows? You could get COVID again, Djokovic. You've had COVID already. I know you're a premier elite athlete, so maybe you're not too worried about getting COVID, but what about your family? What about your friends? What about people you hang out with? What about your parents? What about your kids? To me, this just reeks of selfishness. I just don't understand it. And I'm just flabbergasted. I mean, I just never thought I'd see something like this come up. And I admire these tennis players so much. It's my favorite sport to play and to watch. And this is just a really hard one to understand. And it's shocking. It's frustrating. Djokovic, your legacy is gonna be tarnished because of this. Instead of being remembered as one of the greatest tennis players of all time, you're going to be remembered for being the anti-vaxxer who didn't have an explanation. Not to mention all the kerfuffle. This has been a debacle. In and out of court and appeals and all this. The focus should be on the players. But instead, when you turn on the news and watch the sports, you're lucky to get a brief mention of tennis. And there's a lot of great players. There's a couple of great warm-up events we've seen over the past couple weeks. There's a lot of players doing real well. There's a lot of dark horses that could be breaking through. This could be their year, their Australian Open, their career moment. Are we talking about them? No. How about Andy Murray? The guy's old, he's injured, but he's been playing phenomenal tennis the past 2 weeks. No, we're talking about Novak Djokovic. And the hearings about whether or not his visa is going to be revoked and he's going to get deported. So let's take a minute now and give a shout out to the people who actually played these warm-up events, because they deserve some credit. ATP, Sydney, Karatsev over Murray in the final. What a great week for both of these guys. Kecmanovic losing to Karatsev. Karatsev took out Kecmanovic, Sonigo, Evans, and then Murray. How about Murray? What a week he had in as a wild card. Took out Durasovic, Basilashvili, who he will play again. First round Australian Open. Beat David Goffin, Riley Opelka. These are top 25 ranked guys. Adelaide 2. How about this one? Thanasi Kokkinakis, an Australian who's had terrible injury problems over the years, put together a string of 6 victories. Per, Isner, Vukic, Cilic, Rinderknecht. He's your champion. He just won a 250, so let's give him some credit. How about the week before? Let's see here now. The first Melbourne 250, Rafael Nadal. He doesn't play 250s. He never plays 250s. But he played this one. He wants to get ready. He wants to win the Australian Open. So he beat Berankis, got a forfeit win over Griekspoor. He beat Ruusuvuori and he beat Cressy. He got a first round bye, so he only had to play 3 matches, but he won the tournament. 6 straight sets. Very nice. I think Nadal is quite happy. He's ready to go. He's my favorite. He's my pick to win this tournament. Adelaide won. Let's see here now. Gael Monfils. We thought he was done with injuries. Cerundolo, Paul, Kokkinakis. Kokkinakis made a semi and then a championship. This guy's on a roll. Gael Monfils took out Khachanov. Cilic. 2 weeks, 2 semis. Khachanov into the final over Steve Johnson, Gerasimov and Cilic. These warm-up events matter. Not always, but they do. If you win a warm-up event heading into a major, not only are you legitimately warmed up and ready to play, but you've got confidence. If you're coming into the Australian Open and you have not played a match for 2 or 3 months, I don't care how much practicing you do, it's just not the same. So, yeah, tennis is on. It's going to be an amazing tournament. Heck, this is just an ATP chat. I could do an hour on the WTA draw. But I want to keep the focus here. This is a Djokovic fan reaction. I don't know what feelings to process. Do I hate the guy? I mean, I don't agree with his decisions. Admire the guy's game as a tennis player, especially the cerebral side of things. Nerves of steel, I like to say. You put this guy on a tennis court and it's like Pete Sampras. He just blocks everything out of your mind. The guy's so stoic, and that's the way I was. When you're on that tennis court playing, you park everything else at the door. You don't worry about what's going on outside of the courts. You're there, you play, you focus, you're 100% into this game. And the tenacity, it's like you don't just think you can win, you know you can win. Even without the warm-up events, Djokovic could have won this tournament, and maybe not. This could have been a great opportunity for Kecmanovic, his fellow Serbian countryman. It was going to be on center court, a featured matchup. And now Kecmanovic has been moved off center court. He gets to play Salvatore Caruso on one of the back courts. And but that's okay. As they say, next man up. We've got the schedule now. Nadal's going to be on center court today, as is Zverev, and 3 ladies matches. So, do we really need Djokovic to have a great day of tennis? No, hell no. Sakkari's going to play Osaka, Barty, Zverev, Nadal on center court. The second court's going to have Svitolina, Berrettini, Goff, Badosa versus Tomljanovic, Millman versus Lopez. Court 3, Shapovalov, Djiri, Hurkacz, Gerasimov, Keys, Kenin, Karatsev, Munar. I mean, wow. There's lots to be excited about for this Australian Open. And but Djokovic, you're going to have to repair your image. People who already hate you are going to hate you even more. People who love you are going to be confused and wanting an explanation. Is it really worth it? All you had to do was get a couple of needles in the arm, and you would have saved yourself the embarrassment and the stress and the humiliation, not to mention the fact that you've wasted a lot of people's time, a lot of government resources, tying up the court system over this, and it was totally preventable. I don't know what to make of this. This is just, it's frustrating, it's shocking, it pisses me off. It makes me not even want to watch the tennis tonight. I'm just so angry and so upset about this. And we need world leaders, and that includes athletes, to do the right thing, to say the right things. We want to get through this. We want to get over COVID-19. It's been a couple of really rough years. A lot of us have struggled. Me, I've lost my job twice since the COVID situation. And I'm barely surviving, barely making enough money to pay the rent and keep the food in the fridge stocked. There's families out there with kids that can't go to school, and it's just disrupting a lot of people's lives. People are getting sick and dying, especially the seniors out there. I ask you, Djokovic, you must have some seniors in your life. I don't know if your grandparents are still alive or not, but how would you feel if they died from COVID because you didn't get vaccinated and you got sick and you passed it on to them? Endorsement companies. Do I want to pay an athlete millions of dollars to represent my product if this is what he's all about? No. This could cost you a lot, buddy. 100 years from now, we're going to be looking at the history of this sport. Let me show you something, folks. I like collecting stuff. Here's a 1936 album of tennis players, and they've got this little stickers you can put in here. Fred Perry, Don Budge. I mean, videotape didn't even exist 100 years ago. People are going to look back, and they're going to do research on this stuff, and they're going to see this guy. All he needed to do was take a needle, and he could have won another tournament, but he didn't do it. This could overshadow everything you've ever done. Novak Djokovic, he was the guy that didn't get vaccinated and got kicked out of Australia. He won't be the guy who was remembered for winning all those tournaments. That's a shame, pal. Take a look in the mirror, and I'd say sit down with some psychiatrists and try to sort out your life, pal, because this is just ridiculous. Oh my. Don't know what else to say, so I'm going to turn the camera off. Thanks for watching, everyone.